All right, what's going on, everybody? So this is per request of Marissa Rescott, shout out, asking about how to prove ROI or marketing ROI within physical therapy and the metrics that you need to have to, prove the value there that you're actually putting in meaningful dollars that come out the other end when it comes to new patients, revenue, and that kind of stuff. And really, a lot of this comes down to tracking. There's a lot of metrics, and I'll link it below after this quick broadcast in terms of resource that you can go through. But ultimately, regardless of any kind of digital marketing or even traditional marketing or guerrilla marketing, any kind of marketing whatsoever, you need to have very specific critical touch points that you measure. And then most importantly, at the front desk or at the reception staff level, whatever that process or system is, that it does have to be a system. It needs to be standardized. It needs to have self-replication in how you train people, and it needs to be scalable for a large degree. So when you get from normal caseload to super busy, you're not going to have some system come crashing down. Let's just go off of the theoreticals of, say, 3 primary channels. Every single online marketing strategy should have 3 primary arms, and sometimes they overlap, sometimes they're even the same thing. But there needs to be a discovery channel. There needs to be a discovery channel, an attraction channel, and a conversion channel. Now, many times the discovery channel is something like the search bar. It's Google. There's a lot of evidence out there from many sources that most healthcare consumers will pick their next provider on that almighty search bar. And when you add that with online reviews, it's something like 80 to 90% of that will happen. And if it's done on a mobile interface, 90% typically will make some type of purchasing behavior within the next 24 hours. So it's really important to make sure that that first step is optimized. And then you need an attraction channel. For some, it's going to be social media. Others, it's going to be maybe an email funnel. For others, it might be the website. Who knows? But whatever the case might be, you have to have convincing content that you are the expert, you are the brand, you are the service experience that people are looking for and are willing to buy into, at least emotionally or mentally. Finally, you need a conversion channel. And this is where kind of the magic happens, is you need for them to be able to have an off-ramp and say, yes, I want to call. Yes, I want to schedule. Yes, I want a free screening. Yes, I want something, so that you can convert the audience into a happy customer. And from here, it's absolutely essential to connect that again with that reception system. You have to have a system in place that tracks lead source and lead source conversion journey, because honestly, very commonly in healthcare, we have a lot of referrals. Totally normal, but that's not the only conversion touch point that occurs for any given audience. It could be the case that somebody told me and they heard from somebody else, and that somebody else saw on a website or a Facebook or Instagram video, and that is how I finally converted as a patient. So was that really word of mouth? Well, not really. It actually was word of mouth backed up by online content. So you have to track all these steps in order to really measure your ROI. The second thing you can do outside of creating this lattice work, which is imperative in tracking lead source to lead source conversion journey, is also tracking your market returns. This gets a little bit more complicated in terms of financial analysis. And what we've seen a lot out there is that for whatever reason, I think it's kind of like the parent-child syndrome, where when you finally pay attention, then either things are excellent or things are kind of terrible. Like when parent comes in the room's always dirty. Well, I was about to clean it. And so same thing with marketing and business is that, when the parent comes in the room, when the CFO finally checks on things are either excellent or they seem pretty dire. And if you really dig deep in these situations and you compare, say, Q1 of last year to Q1 of this year, or so on and so forth, you start to see more meaningful trends. And typically you see seasonality, or you see a complete market elevation or a market depression. And a lot of times marketing isn't to blame for that. We've seen more often than not that marketing will save a business from an even worse time. When they thought that was a terrible quarter, you can only imagine how much worse it would have been, because by tracking all these things, all of a sudden a practice that might be 80 or 90% referral based in terms of its lead source generation, what if that thing drops off? What if the percentage of that drops, say, by 20%? Then all of a sudden you have maybe like a 15% drop in revenue. You need that to be made up on the direct to consumer marketing element. And if that wasn't even there, then the whole system becomes depressed from a financial standpoint. It's a lot of strain, on the business owners or the practice managers or the staff at large, cutting hours, being forced to take PTO or flex hours completely. So it's very important to measure all these things. The proving of value, when it comes to that true proving point, there's probably a handful of things I can go off the top of my head in terms of what you can pick. Number one will be customer retention. There's a lot of research out there in the consulting business world, business consulting world, however you want to see or say it, that you spend a lot smarter dollars reaching your current audience than trying to grow new ones. And then the second thing is, when growing discovery channels, what you really need to do is test. And you have to accept the fact that growing new market channels requires a lot of testing dollars. And typically, you can spend very tiny amounts over 6 months, and then that market might have already vanished, or you can spend it right now and get it while it's hot, grow that 6 months instead of test those 6 months, and then at the end of it, say the market goes back down because the trend goes away or what have you, but now you have all these current audience members, all these happy customers that becomes part of a brand loyal experience and community, and that actually, again, is way easier in terms of boosting profits. I want to say something like, is it Bain & Company or BCG had a classic study that showed that if you were to up your customer loyalty by like 5%, that would boost your profitability by like 75% or something crazy like that. It was some really wild number that made everybody go, no, there's no possible way. But you get the point. Making current customers happier and more loyal to you is part of the marketing strategy your business should have. So hopefully that was helpful. And let me know if you have any kind of questions. I'll go ahead and, once I stop the broadcast, I'll link that e-resource below. You can sign up for it. It'll just go straight to your email. And that's that. You won't get anything else from it except for that. And there's all sorts of blogs, guys. There's something like 200 plus blogs. A lot of it's on business development and marketing at updocmedia.com. So just go right there and you can explore everything. And, I think almost anything and everything you could possibly want to find out about physical therapy marketing, at least from concept to action, and then maybe some higher level stuff is all there. And it's all free, there for you to read. Just go to the blog and click on that keyword marketing. All right, guys, hopefully that was helpful. I'll see you later.